All right, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a quick check ride demo that we have here in the 93rd part of the virtual 303. As part of our interview process, basically what we're looking for is just the understanding of how to start the aircraft, get the INS up and running, get all your systems going, and then do a safe taxi, departure, find the tanker, take on 3 or 4 thousand pounds of fuel, navigate back to Nellis using the Tacan, whatever real means you want to, and then using the Tacan and instrument stuff, get back to a safe landing, roll it out, and then taxi back to the EOR or Gulf Revetments, whichever you would prefer for shutdown. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to do a quick startup here and not going to be doing a lot of talking. I'll walk through a little bit of what I'm doing. But for the most part, it's just going to be getting away from Nellis and then finding the tanker and then coming back for attack and ILS combination. So let's get it going. Get all my switches set up here before I get power on the aircraft. We don't require radio comms during this. We'll just be in there with you in Discord. So don't worry about having comms or anything like that set up. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing fired up.
Pull up. Altitude. Warning.
INS is ready. All right, let's do one final cockpit sweep. Make sure we go with everything. Lights are set. Comms are good. All right. Taxi light, brakes, steering on. Alright, so we've got the tanker on our HSI at our 11:30-ish at 64 miles. We got a good closure rate. Got my fuel flow set. I'm just going to leave it about 6,500. Not trying to get there too fast. Got plenty of fuel still. Doing an orbit out there, so I'm just flying in a set direction. I'm letting him fly around me. You can see on the radar he's turning towards me, so we should cut in front of us right here, and then we'll do an intercept. Close on him rather quickly, and then we'll grab some petrol and head on back for the ILS. Alright, coming up on 30 miles. Out there somewhere. I think I saw him. Yep, there he is. Visual. Outstanding. 30 miles, let's go ahead and make our radio call.
Texaco 1-1, Springfield 1-1, request rejoin. Springfield 1-1, Texaco 1-1, proceed to pre-contact at 24,000 at 300.
Alright, let's go ahead and get 1,000 feet below him, so we'll go up to 23,000. Do 80, 100 knots closure here, coming in laterally. He's crossing over. I'm going to start leading him a little bit, so do a nice little 5 or 6 degree roll here. Try and keep my nose in front of him, close the distance. 24 miles. Level it off at 23,000. Once I get about 5 miles, I'll go pure pursuit and start turning into him at about a mile. I'm going to keep him right on the edge of the HUD there. Can't see him, he's right here. I like to keep him right there. It's a good little gauge, constant closure rate. We're about 17 miles. Once that gets inside of 10 miles, I'll put him within the HUD. About 5 miles, I'll go pure, point my VVI straight at him. Mile and a half or so, I'll start turning into lag pursuit, bleed off the speed, to rejoin with him. I've got him set to about 325 calculated airspeed, give or take. So we'll use that turn in and our climb to bleed off any speed that we have. He's turning left. So I am going to switch to lead pursuit again. Got about 15 miles. I'll keep inside the HUD now. He's making his turn back to the west, so I'm keeping that in mind. If I follow him in trail right now, I'm going to have to follow him in trail for the rest of it. So I'm trying to guess his turn. Keep him inside the HUD. Rolling up about due north right now. Probably catch him on the last bit of this turn. Alright, there's 10 miles, still got visual. About 100 knots closure right now. 5 miles, we'll start throttling that back. Alright. Radar quiet. Lights are good. Master arm safe, laser arm to off. Alright, there's 5 miles. I'm going to come back on the throttle. A little bit of a climb going here, get up to just under 24,000. 4 miles, still got him in lead pursuit. Miles. Alright, now we are in pure lag pursuit right now. Just going to line up directly behind him. Going to finalize my speeds. Coming up on 2 miles. Want about 15-20 knots closure from this position. Nice and smooth. Start working on my trim. Make sure everything's trimmed out. 2 miles, 50. Got him just above the horizon line, which means I'll slide in about 200 or 300 feet below him, and then I can make my adjustments from there. As we get closer, finer and finer inputs. Mile and a half, check. Got plenty of fuel coming down through 6,700. Alright, so there's 1 mile. Alright, it's about a half mile. I'm going to go ahead and come back on the throttle, about 340, 335 knots, and I'll keep descending from there. Excuse me, not descending. I'll keep decreasing my... There's the boom, so there's a half mile. 330. On the left. So from this point in about a half mile, all I'm trying to do is line up my BVI on the tip of the boom. Let my speed get a little too low there. Punch it up, grab a few knots. Don't want to make any huge corrections at this point. 5, 6 knot closure is all you need. But I try and keep my BVI right on the edge of that boom there. That'll give me a good altitude. Slide under the tanker for a correct boom position. Point 4, good closure right here. Got a little outside, no big deal. Just slowly correct it. Manage your speed. BVI on the horizon. Aim for the tip of that boom. Go and get our refuel door open. Ready lights on. Switches are safe. Radar's cold. We are good to go. Throttle back. Last 1/10 of a mile closing here. Alright, so his speed's going to be right at 323, so that's going to be my baseline. So this close, I'm just going to jump up to 325. Nice slow walk in from here. No longer looking at one position on the aircraft. I'm just trying to hold sight picture in the center of my HUD, keep my VVI right on that boom line. Super small inputs. I always add one click of nose up trim just so I'm always pushing the nose away from the tanker. I have a tendency to climb, and I just constantly tap it forward to keep it on the horizon. I will be climbing into the tanker if I'm not paying attention, but my safe escape will always be down, so I'm always telling myself to push forward anyway, so it's a little safer in my opinion. Don't want to be drifting away from it and having to pull purposefully into the tankers. There we go, we're set, 328. Got about a 200 foot closure now. Throttle it back a little bit. Keeping him right in the center of my HUD, just closing the distance ever so slowly.
Ready, recontact. Cleared contact.
Alright, so we're going to take it up to about 9,500, maybe 10,000 pounds of fuel, and then we will depart. Slowly walking the throttle back. Now I've got eyes on this sight picture, right? I'm looking not at the specific point on a tanker, but I'm just looking through it onto the horizon, trying to keep them in the same spot. Keep my VVI on the horizon, makes very fine-tuned adjustments. Let the jet react. Okay, booms up. Now I'm looking at the lights. Altitude alignment's good on the left, so I'm looking at the light on the left. My altitude's good. Trying to get the right one in picture. That's going to be my forward back. So now I'm trying to keep my HUD lined up with the yellow line on the tanker, and I'm trying to get a sight picture of that tanker and what I want it to look like. A little high. There we go. Okay, that's the position we want to be in. A little back on the throttle.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
Looking at the lights, drifting away, add a little power. Pull it back out. Constant baby throttle movements. Constant stick throttle movements. Little high. A little much on the throttle. Trying to stay in this little bubble right underneath.
You're taking fuel.
There's 7,500.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
A little too far forward. I'm going to try and back this off a little bit.
Contact. You're taking fuel.
A little high. That's the sight picture I want right there. There's 9,400. We'll take on another 6. And then we'll just drop the engines to idle, back off. Alright, there's 9,900 rolling out. Backing off the aircraft, add the throttle. Close my gate.
Return pre-contact.
Let him know we are done.
Abort rejoin.
Alright. We are ready to head back to Nellis. I'm going to go ahead and descend down below him, and I'm going to turn south. Alright. Let's go ahead. Set up for our Tacan back into Nellis. Excuse me. Take this down to about 12,000 feet. About 180. Maybe 190. Try that. Alright, we got Nellis 62 miles. Put it about 10 degrees off the nose. Alright, let's get our radar back on, check our lights. Systems are good. Let's go ahead and roll our ILS up just a hair. Make sure that's powered on. It is. Got our course set and our frequency, 109.1. We will switch over to Tacan ILS once we get on about a 15-20 mile final here. $40 miles out, I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down to about 300 knots. Following this nice slow descent down. Hope we pick up the ILS. Turn that on. Keep it on the Tacan for right now. We'll get those lines lined up. Get within about 15 miles, we'll go ahead and switch over to the ILS, pick that up, and follow it down. 31 miles. We are online, on course. Nice slow descent of 1,000 feet per minute. $20 miles. Let's check the ILS. We don't have it yet. Probably won't pick it up till about 13 miles. Alright, 15 miles. Let's go ahead and switch over to Tacan ILS. There's my ILS lineup cue. So I'm going to chase that needle to the right. No big movements. 300 knots. We'll do gear down about 10 miles. Get configured. Level off here, and I'm going to intercept my glide slope, which just came alive. It's coming down from the top. Turn back in, chase that lateral line. Vertical line's coming in nicely.
Altitude.
Alright, there's about 10 miles. Gear down. We're going to use our throttle to adjust our climb and descent. We're a little above the glide slope, so I'm going to keep the power out. Right on center line. Coming back in, chase it back up. We don't chase the vertical with our stick, chase it with the throttle. Add a little bit of throttle there, now I've got everything centered up. Just monitor, keep it all centered up. A little bit to the right, a little bit back left, a little bit of throttle, take it out. Chase that glide slope. Simulate our cloud base at about, let's do 2,500 feet. A little below it, gonna add a little bit of power. Close. trim up here, take the throttle out. A little more trim up, nice, slow, do the trim, let it adjust, do it again if you need to. 3,100 feet. A little below, gonna add some power. 2850, 2,500 will go eyes up. 2,700 feet. A little below it. There's 2,500 feet. We're VFR. Runway's right in front of me. Do my final touches here. Lower my descent a little bit. Nice smooth touchdown just below 3 degrees. And there's 30 feet, flare, throttles to idle, a little bit of speed brake, 10 degrees nose up, hold your nose off, straight down the center line, rudders as needed. Alright, full aft stick, nose comes down on its own, maintain center line, and roll it out. Thousand foot left, 90 knots. Go ahead and get on a little bit of brakes. Below 70 knots, nose wheel steering's back on. 50 knots. 30, release the aft stick, speed brakes in. Roll out at a good 20 knots to exit, and then we'll go back for shit. Alright, so after landing checks, radar altimeter off, CR off, get our lights configured, unarm the seat, taxi lights on, RWR off. Y'all were wondering, if you hit list 6, you'll get your ground speed right over here on the DED. Good taxi reference. Stay below about 20 knots. Between 12 and 20 knots, somewhere around there. Turns I like to do below 12. Alright, parking brake set. Head, pop the canopy. Close out all our switches here. That's pretty much it, folks. that is the essence of the interview or check ride for our interview process. We're not looking for perfection. Looking more that you understand the fundamentals of how to get the jet started, how to use the Tacan and basic systems, get a few thousand pounds of fuel, and then head on back home. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, hit us up on the Discord or on the forums. See you next time.